Hi, I'm Amanda of Inspiring Inkin. Welcome to my craft room. In today's video, we are going to be looking at the brand new Stampin Positioner tool from Stampin Up. It's just been released and I'll have all the details. I'm going to give you a full review, show you how it works. So let's get started. Okay, so here we go. In the box comes a small plate, some instructions, a large plate, 2 magnets. These are really cool. I'll explain about those in a second, and the base plate. So what I'm going to do is kind of talk you through each one of the things, and then we're going to see what we can do with it. So the first thing to know is this base is really sturdy and it's got foam on the bottom. So it's going to sit nice and steady on your table. The magnets are fab. So these are earth magnets. These are super strong. You can hear them if they snap together like that. But they've got these little cases on them, which means they're not going to break. And they've got like a little fishtail here on them, so that it's really easy to pick them up. So 2 magnets. Then you get, this is the magic. This is the magic. 2 plates. So you have this big plate, which is the same size as the platform, and I'll measure the platform for you in a second to let you know exactly how big it is. It's got grid on the top. It's printed on the top, so there's nothing printed on the underside. It's plastic, but it's really thick acrylic. And it's got these little feet, and the feet are spring-loaded. So in order to stamp with this Stampin Positioner tool, we're going to put our stamps on and we're going to pop it on the slots, and we are just going to press down. And what I'll do is I'll tilt it up so you can see it. She says, hang on. It's difficult to do things in the air. Let's just hold it down. So yeah, you can see that. So can you see that that is going to spring? So it's honestly, you don't need very much pressure at all. So we've got this big plate, but then we've got the little plate. Now, at the moment, Stampin' Up are just releasing what's here. I'm hoping they're going to release some more of these little plates because these are going to be really, really useful. And you'll see later when I show you some of the techniques that we can do. This works in exactly the same way as the big plate. So we can just press it down. But it's got these locating slots at the top, which means we can move it along. And that is really cool. You're going to love that. So let's move those out of the way as well. And let's look at this. Now, this is going to be really hard because it's white and it's etched. So I'm going to bring it up as close to the camera as I can, and hopefully you will be able to see. So there are these big posts and then teeny tiny posts. These teeny tiny posts are for grid paper, which I'll show you in a second. And then there is a ruler. Let me just kind of tilt it, and maybe that's the shot. Let's see. And there's inches and centimeters, and there is a central point noted, which has got 0, and then we go inches to the left and centimeters and to the right. And then you've also got a grid or a ruler again along this side. So with the measurements here, it's about 7 by 9 inches, the whole platform, I would say. Now, the other thing, oh, can we see it? Yeah, just there. Can you see just here? There is a triangle. Now that triangle is for you to locate your card when you're doing lots and lots of stamping of the same image. It means it's on an angle. I've got some hints and tips for that, but it's actually really, really useful. So I mentioned about grid paper. So released at the same time is this grid paper. It's the same as our standard grid paper with inches on one side and centimeters on the other. Let me just get that off. So that's the centimeter side, that's the inches side. But you can see it's got these little tiny, tiny holes, and they are designed to locate onto those little tiny posts. And that means then that you've got a grid in order to work on. So there is no etching at all on this main part, which makes for really smooth stamping. But if you want to position something, obviously having the grid paper will really help because you can mark the lines. Okay. So let's get started with a little bit of stamping. So I am just going to work on one piece of card. I'm not going to try and replicate this, so I'm just doing one card. So I'm not going to worry about lining this up. I'm just going to line it up for this one stamp. So I'm using Nature's Symphony, and I've just laid it on the cardstock. I've locate the two holes here onto the little springs at the top, and then we're going to press it down gently and lift it up. Now, when you're lifting it up, sometimes the stamps can stick to the cardstock. Just keep your fingers on the card underneath and you'll be able to lift it up. I'm going to turn that over and get my ink. You will find it's easier to ink it up this way rather than taking the plate to the ink pad like we would do with a normal stamp. And don't worry if you get any extra ink around the edges because it won't go onto the card. So we're going to locate that like that, and then we're just going to press down. Now I'm going to lift it up again, and I'm going to show you that that is not a perfect image, mainly because I purposely didn't ink it up properly. Because sometimes we don't ink it up properly, do we? So let's ink it up again. And because this is exactly where we left it, we're going to locate that and we're going to press it down, and it's going to go exactly over the top. That is the magic of this tool. So there you go. So there you've got a perfect image. So what I'm going to do actually is flip this around and just see if that's fab. So I can just finish this off. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to show you lots of different techniques and different things we can do with the Stampin Positioner. And then I'm going to, with the magic of video, stop the camera, refill, and then finish the cards, and then just show you the cards at the end, because I don't want this video to be 3 hours long. Look, can you see just there? I've got some ink on my platform. It is not going to go anywhere, I promise. It's the ink on the stamp is the only thing that's going to stick to that card, and that ink isn't going to make any difference at all. So look how cool that is. Beautiful image. I promise I'll make it into a cool card later. So let's clean that off. A chamois is going to be your best friend for cleaning. And I have a cloth to kind of dry it off as well. Okay, so that's sort of standard stamping. When you have two-step stamps, so these are stamps where you've got quite often a background image and then a more detailed image. Sometimes that can be really tricky as well, and the positioner will work really well for that too. So let's just pop that down, and what we're going to do, we'll just put one of the flowers right in the middle. And pop that down, pick it up, and I have got two pinks. So I've got Pretty in Pink and Strawberry Slush. Okay, so let's just give that a press. So you've got your Pretty in Pink layer. And then we are going to get the detailed layer. So with this, you can position it right over the top, exactly where it needs to go. The magnets are holding everything in place. I'm going to pop that down, lift it up, and go in with Strawberry Slush. And look at the alignment of that. That's so cool. Obviously what I can do, actually I'll get my little plate out. What I can do is just pop that center in as well. So we'll just pick that up. And we'll do that in Strawberry Slush as well. And again, you can see, look, I'm getting ink everywhere. And it doesn't matter. This tool makes things easy. Less oops, more wows. There we go. So at the beginning, I explained to you that there's a little triangle here, which is designed for you to put your card in like that, on a diagonal. Now I can understand why you might wonder, why am I going to stamp on a diagonal? Well, the reason for this is to allow you to make multiple cards without having to line it up. So you saw as I was crafting a few moments ago, if I put this particular card here, for instance, and stamp the image, when I take it off, I don't exactly know where it was. So the position, let's just pop that back on there. The position of this leaf, for instance, might not be in the right place. Whereas if you put your card in where that triangle is, you know that every time you come back to this particular setup, that the card will always be in the right place. So let's just pop this down like that. And then I'm just going to press that down and lift it up. And you can see sometimes the stamps stick a little bit, which is another reason why it's really good to have that lined up. So I'm going to ink this up with Old Olive. and then position it, line it up, and then I can take that off. I can line up my next one, and we can go again. Now, this will be great for invitations or thank you cards, or just getting a stack, your Christmas cards, getting a stack of cards that is the same consistently. And you don't have to keep setting it up each time. So you can see that it's in exactly the same place on both pieces of card. So that's why you would work diagonally. If you're doing sentiments, I would probably turn this, just because it will help my brain. Let me just get this off and get our sentiment. So you make me smile. So, and the reason I would turn it is so that my sentiment is, I know that it's straight. So let's pick up the sentiment. Make sure it's all lined up. Not sure necessarily that strawberry slush would be my first choice, but that's the ink that I've got open. So let's just pop that down. Yeah, there you go. That actually looks pretty cool. So you can see that that is nicely lined up. And then if I get the next one, pop it back in again. Ink it up again. So that is speed stamping. So they're exactly the same. So you're going to get a consistent finish by using that triangle. Okay, what else can we do? So I'm going to clean whilst I'm talking to you about the next thing. So the next thing is one of my favorite techniques to do with the Stampin Positioner. And it comes in lots of names. You can, people call it tile stamping or repeat stamping. But it's wonderful. So I'm going to move the big plate out of the way and get my little plate. So this little plate is designed for the tile stamping. And if you remember, I said there are two little holes at the top and they locate in these larger pegs at the back. So I'm going to turn this around again, because I'm going to be working with a sentiment and I prefer to be able to see it the way that I'm working. So that's going to be going there. So I'm going to bring that down a little bit, pin it down with my magnets, and then I'm going to get lots and lots of purpley pink inks and the amazing Fabulous Sayings stamp set. This is one of the product of the month. It's currently still available, so make sure you add it to your basket. So I am going to pop that down. Like I said, this is why I am putting it in or putting it on. I've turned the platform around so that I can see what I'm doing. So in exactly the same way as before, we're just going to locate the plate, press it down, pick it up. So I'm going to start out with my palest colour, and that is Bubble Bath. And we are gonna locate it there and press it down. And yeah, can you see that? Got the lovely happy birthday. So then, in order to repeat stamp or tile stamp, we're going to move it one set of notches. So I'm just going to turn it over, ink it up, this time with fresh freesia. So the first time I stamped it, it was on the top two. Now I'm going to stamp it on the second and the third. So I'm going to locate it on the second and the third and stamp it down. That's so cool. Then we're going to go again. Petunia pop. I'm not bothering to clean the stamp in between times because I'm going from pale colours to dark colours. Don't do that if you're going from dark colours to light colours. Okay, so we did 2 and 3 last time. So 3 and 4, line it up, press it down. Petunia pop. Honestly, this is such a cool technique. I love it. Oh, okay. So this time it's 4 and 5. How awesome is that? And then I've got probably enough space for one more. And that is Gorgeous Grape. Now, obviously, I've done this with sentiments, but you could do this with flowers or trees. But that is so amazing. And what I like to do is kind of compare this to using the Stampin Positioner against using a block. And I would never be able to align this so perfectly. And yeah, this is such a quick way of making really beautiful projects. Okay, so that's repeat stamping. There is another thing I want to show you with repeat stamping, because I don't want you to think that if you are a scrapbooker or if you work with big cards, you can't use this Stampin Positioner. So let me just clean this up. So I'm going to get a piece of our amazing 12 by 12 two-tone cardstock. This is Old Olive. And I just want to show you, because there are no edges. So on 3, there's the pegs here, but there is nothing on these edges. So you can put your piece of 12 by 12 onto the positioner and sort of move it along in order to stamp. Now, you might want to stamp titles, that sort of thing, but just for ease today, I thought I would just do a quick border for you. So I'm using pine tree trimmings. And what I'm actually going to do is stamp a bottom border on my piece of 12 by 12. So I'm going to be stamping my trees upside down. I know, but it works, I promise. So what we're going to do, I'm going to move this along a little bit first, is pop my tree there. And I'm butting it up against those little stands. I'm going to pick up my stamp, and I want to show you. I'm just going to lift that up first. Actually, I should have pinned that down. Let me just do that. I just want to show you. I'm going to pick it up. Where the feet are, it doesn't actually make a mark on the cardstock. So that's really important, because obviously you're working with a big piece of paper or card. Okay, so let's get started with this. So we've got one tree. Lift it up. Move it along. Now, if I stamp it there, so one along, it's actually going to overlap. So I'm going to move it along 2. So I stamped on 1 and 2 the first time, and now 3 and 4. And then 5 and 6. 7 and 8. And then I'm going to move this along, just slide it along. And what we're going to do is we are just going to align this. So I'm putting the tool back, the plate back, and just lining it up again so I can see the tree through that. So I know it's in the right position now. So we're going to have a nice even edge, even border. So then we are going to do that one. And then ink it up again. And that one. Okay, let me just move the magnet out the way. And there we go. So let's pop those down and let's turn this around so you can see. So you've got a beautiful tiled border there. And obviously you can use lots of different things. And I just wanted to show you that it can be done easily on a 12 by 12 as well as card sizes. Okay, 2 more things to show you. Next is going to be background stamps. I'm actually using lasting linen. Now, background stamps for me are one of the most tricky stamps to use. This is an F block, which is what you need for a background stamp. And I have tiny hands. So I can only just reach side to side on this block. And it's actually quite heavy and it's quite difficult for me to grip. So I'm so thrilled that we've got the platform, and it just means then it's going to be easy for me to stamp. So I am going to get a piece of cardstock, and actually I'm going to get a bigger piece of cardstock. Bear with me a second, because I'm just going to trim a sheet of card in half. I want a bigger piece because of the size of the background stamp. So let me just flip that over because it's got pink ink on it. Pin that down. Okay, so I'm just going to position that stamp there. You can see I have got so many colours of ink on this stamp. It's most photopolymer stamps do go pink over time. This is kind of a pink and purple version. So we've got the cardstock down, we've got the stamp. Let's get the big plate and lift it up. And then let's go with Highland Heather. Now, again, take the ink pad to the stamp. You'll just find it easier. Turn it over and press it down. And then lift it up. And it gives you this perfect background image, which is really wonderful. I am sure many of you will have red rubber stamps, cling stamps, in addition to your photopolymer stamps. So I am sure that you will have questions as to whether or not that works as well. So I'm here to tell you, yes, it does, but you just need to be mindful of the fact that this has got foam on it and it's thicker than your photopolymer stamps. So when I pop that down, and let me just clean off this. When I pop the plate down, it's almost resting on that stamp. So you only need a little gentle press in order to pick it up. So I'm just going to ink this up with Gorgeous Grape and just pop it down there like that. So I am barely pressing this because it's almost touching as it is. But look, it gives a beautiful image. So absolutely, yes, you can use your red rubber stamps with the foam backing as well. Right, where's my chamois? Clean that off. Okay, so there is one more thing I am going to show you, which is a technique called wreath stamping. And you can do this as a corner stamp. You can sort of put your stamps, put them in a corner on your card, but it works really, really well to make a wreath. So what you need, and I'm rummaging on my table because I can't find the piece of cardstock I was looking for. Oh, there we go. Found it. Okay. What I'm going to do is, or what you need is a leaf stamp of some description that's got kind of a little bit of a curve to it, and just play around. This particular stamp set is Lifetime of Love, I think. I'll show you at the end. Oh yeah, it's here. Yeah, it's a Lifetime of Love. But it's got kind of a little bit of a curve to it. So I'm going to put my square in there, and I'm just going to pop that down like so. And then I'm going to pick it up and ink it up. Ooh, let's just pop that down. And obviously this is quite a small stamp. I could have used a smaller plate, but the big plate is good as well. So I've done that. I'm going to lift this up and do a quarter turn. Pop it down again. Ink it up. Pop it down. And go another quarter turn. That's building a beautiful wreath shape. And I'm going to colour this in actually. And I've die cut some flowers from the Lifetime of Love dies. So that's how I'm going to finish it off. But turn it again. Ooh, and each time I'm lining it up on that little triangle, she says. There we go. And pop it down. There we go. And that gives you a beautiful wreath. I hope you've enjoyed my first look at the Stampin Positioner. Through the magic of video editing, I am going to get these cards made, and I will be back in just a moment to show you the finished cards. So here are the completed projects. I've made 3 cards with some of the elements that I use the Stampin Positioner for. Obviously here in the background you can see the lovely tiled trees on the scrapbook page. This card is the tiled sentiments. Then this is the 2-step stamping. I just stamped one of the images in the previous part of the video. I've actually tiled and put these other 2 flowers in as well. And then this one is a combination of the background stamp, that's that lovely linen stamp, and the wreath. So I've just coloured that in. So I hope you've enjoyed taking a tour around the new Stampin Positioner with me. I have only scratched the surface with the things that this tool can do. So please watch out for more videos. I've got so many techniques and so many projects planned. We're going to be having a lot of fun creating and crafting together. Now, I know you're going to want to know, how can I get it, Amanda? How can I get this Stampin Positioner? And when can I get it? Now, as always, the magic of YouTube is that you could be watching this the day I launch it or in a year's time. So I'm going to give you the information right now for today. And then as time goes on and it does get fully released, I will change the information below. So the best place to get information is down there in the kind of click see more information, and I always update that as time goes on. So today is the 22nd of January 2026. The Stampin Positioner has been released for Stampin' Up demonstrators only. It's on a pre-order. So if you are a Stampin' Up demonstrator, hooray! You can get yours right now. So wherever you are in the world, you can order yours on pre-order. If you are not a Stampin' Up demonstrator, you should be. And I would love you to join my team. And if you wait just a little bit until the 3rd of February 2026, the Stampin Positioner will be sent to you when you join with your starter kit. Now, any time is a great time to join Stampin' Up. If you've watched any of my other videos, you will know this. But seriously, to get this tool, that would be a great time. So the offer, the joining offer from Stampin' Up is from the 3rd of February 2026 to the 2nd of March 2026. I'll give you the prices in pounds, currency of the UK. If you're somewhere else in the world, it will be different. But you join for a fee of £99. You pick £130 worth of products, and you can choose any products from any of the catalogues or anything that's online or in the clearance rack or anywhere. So you can choose £130 worth of products. Stampin' Up ships it to you for free, and they'll include the Stampin' Positioner for you as well. If you'd like any more information, whether that's about joining my team, the Stampin' Up products, my classes and events, I run in-person events in Hampshire and the UK, and online classes that are available worldwide, please send me an email. I'll pop the email address just there for you. It's amanda@inspiringinkin.com. And please do subscribe to my YouTube channel, pop over to my blog, which is www.inspiringinkin.com, and subscribe to my email list there as well. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope to see you again very soon. Goodbye.